In the modern Middle East, power is not only measured in armies or borders, it is measured in barrels. Oil and gas, the black veins of the earth, have shaped the destiny of this region more than any ideology or empire. And in the 21st century, they remain the currency of influence, wealth, and survival. When the United States invaded Iraq in 2003, the world was told it was about weapons of mass destruction. But behind the rhetoric, oil was never far from the equation. Iraq sits atop some of the largest proven reserves on the planet. The fall of Saddam Hussein did not only topple a dictator, it disrupted the delicate balance of global energy markets, opening doors for foreign companies and plunging the region into new uncertainty. Through the early 2000s, oil prices surged. Gulf monarchies, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, turned this boom into unprecedented wealth. Glittering skyscrapers rose in Dubai. Sovereign wealth funds reached into Wall Street, London, and Shanghai. The desert became a kingdom of glass and steel, built on the fortunes of petroleum. At the center of this energy empire stood OPEC, the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries. But in 2000, the cartel faced a new challenger: American shale oil. With hydraulic fracturing and horizontal drilling, the United States flooded the market, driving prices down. What followed was a war not of missiles, but of markets. Saudi Arabia and its allies refused to cut production, hoping to bankrupt U.S. producers. Instead, the world watched a brutal price collapse, one that rattled economies from Riyadh to Moscow. Russia, itself a petro-state, had long seen oil and gas as strategic weapons. Pipelines bound Europe to Moscow's energy. But as sanctions grew after Crimea in 2014, the Kremlin looked south. In Syria, Russia intervened not only to save Assad, but to secure influence over future energy corridors linking the Middle East to Europe. Meanwhile, a new customer arrived with insatiable hunger: China. By the 2010s, Beijing had surpassed the United States as the largest importer of Middle Eastern oil. Energy became the backbone of China's Belt and Road Initiative, financing infrastructure across the region, from pipelines in Iran to ports in Pakistan. The Gulf states, once tethered almost exclusively to Washington, now balanced their loyalties between East and West. For Iran, oil was both lifeline and curse. Decades of sanctions crippled exports, yet every shift in negotiations, from the 2015 nuclear deal to the U.S. withdrawal under Trump, reverberated in global markets. The Strait of Hormuz, a narrow choke point through which a third of the world's seaborne oil passes, remained a reminder. A single spark could ignite an economic inferno. But even as oil reigned supreme, the winds of change began to blow. The world spoke of renewables, of a post-oil future. And yet, for the Middle East, the paradox was clear. The very substance that made it indispensable also trapped it in dependency. Oil and gas built cities, bought weapons, and shaped alliances. But they also fueled wars, corruption, and the fragile economies that could collapse if the wells run dry. In the Middle East of the 21st century, oil and gas are more than resources. They are instruments of power, bargaining chips in diplomacy, and weapons of war. Whoever controls them controls the future. And as the battle for influence deepens, the black gold of the region continues to light the fires of global rivalry. The Undercover Journal. Στην ιστοσελίδα μας θα βρείτε αποκλειστικά άρθρα και αναλύσεις για θέματα που αφορούν τις υπηρεσίες πληροφοριών, την κατασκοπία, την τρομοκρατία, τη γεωπολιτική στρατηγική, το tradecraft, τις κυβερνοεπιθέσεις, cyber warfare και αληθινές ιστορίες κατασκόπων, real spy stories.